All right, part two. Welcome back. I had to get my son a banana. That's why I stopped the last stream. Aparentemente. Um, so today, what are we building? We're building a solution that is laterally slides. We're going to try this out. Check the last video. I went over the problem statement. Basically, I'm trying to build the laterally curriculum. And the old way I was doing it was really laborious. And so this is a proposed solution to do it in a more auditable, higher quality, faster, efficient way. When we left off, I was walking through, like, I'm going to have a list of links with notes for each link, and how should this be organized? Kind of like the traditional way to think about a system design would be to like think through the database and the entities and the API. I think that's really wrong-headed because you want to start by asking, do I even need a database? Do I even need a server? Do I even need an API? So the simplest way would just be a plain text list that's read as a static file. The problem with that is that if it's just a list, there is no way to associate notes for each link. So somehow we need to parse two different entities, links and notes for each link. Now we can still have a static file or a set of static files that are parsed to produce this association. So one way is to use like a comma separated variable CSV spreadsheet. Another way is to use just a set of files. So there could be one file, which is a list of links, and then each of these list of links might have its own file that has a list of notes within that. So these would be multiple files. Like I could treat this as an ID and have a folder named that, or a text file named that, and then have some logic that does an association. So this would be a file directory approach. You could also do this with JSON. These are all kind of like difficult ways of doing it, and they all have drawbacks. One problem with JSON, it's not human readable. So one of the benefits that I get, so let me mention an alternative, and I'll talk about all the benefits. An alternative is to use Markdown. There's a bunch of benefits. One is that GitHub already supports GitHub flavored Markdown. Like this right here is written in Markdown. So this is a title and this is a paragraph. Markdown has links, it has rich text, all kinds of really great stuff. So not only do I get the benefit of, and it's something that's natively parsed. I don't have to write my own parser. There are libraries that parse Markdown, and they recognize things like a section title. So the idea of a section is already built into Markdown. So we're using external libraries. It makes it really easy. Markdown is also human readable. Let's go to a GitHub repository right here. So this is written in Markdown. It's written in the readme.md file right here. And then GitHub, and it's specifically GitHub flavored Markdown, which is pretty much Markdown with some extra bells and whistles. It's a dialect of Markdown. Now I'm already planning on using GitHub as my version control system. So GitHub flavored Markdown would allow the user to read this. It's human readable. JSON is not human readable, and frankly, even this is barely human readable. So giving the person something nice to read like this means they won't have to check out my repository. They won't have to clone it, run an application, visit some website. They can just see it right here. And I think that's a really nice feature that's not available if I were to use JSON or a file directory structure like multiple files. This is just one file. It's a flat file. You could do a similar thing with HTML. So you could view HTML as a flat file. But this approach where you visit the repository and GitHub renders it for you specifically requires that you use GitHub flavored Markdown. So yeah, and then how would we associate notes? Well, it's just the content in that section, note 1, note 2, like this. So this, what I just highlighted, is an example of using Markdown. And it would be rendered basically more or less like that. And so this could be a single flat file. Okay, great. And parsing my Markdown myself is really gross. Parsing anything myself would be really gross. But there's libraries that already do that. Yep, benefit of plain text or Markdown is readability of the repo viewer without needing to run an application. So how can I, this is the kicker though, how can I make a slideshow out of it? Because this is not a slideshow, right? I want a slideshow. Specifically, when I'm recording the videos for my curriculum, I want to be recording it with a slideshow that the student can reference. So the answer is that there's libraries for that, it turns out. So we'll get to how I found that out in a minute. Basically, I just went to Google. Let me run through the proposal though. And I want a traceable slideshow. So what does traceable mean? It needs to be text diffable. I need to be able to do a get diff. And I want it to be version controlled. So it needs to be text-based, non-binary format. So not a PowerPoint, not a Google Drive, Google Slideshow. Those are binary, and those are not version controlled. Instead, I want one of two things to happen. Either there's a build process and the output may not be diffable, but all of the inputs are diffable and the build process itself is regular. Or the output is also diffable. And for that to be the case, it would need to be plain text or Markdown or HTML, a string-based format. And I would really favor those. Even the slideshow, not just the Markdown file, even the slideshow, I would really like it to be diffable itself. But as a second best, the output can be non-diffable and all of the inputs as well as the build process are diffable. That would be second best. Best is everything's diffable. So how could we do that? We'll Google it in a second. But here's the proposed solution, that there's a master Markdown file. I don't need a database. I don't need to do any kind of parsing and association logic. The parsing is just handled by a library and it's following standard GitHub flavored Markdown. No database, not even a UI information architecture is needed. I don't even need to parse out different entities because the idea of a section, like these different entities that I would be parsing and naming and creating, they're native to Markdown. So I don't even need to come up with an information architecture, a serverless architecture, let alone a server full architecture, which would be even more complicated. With this approach, there are outstanding questions. One is image handling. So I know GitHub flavored Markdown supports images. We can see a couple images like right here, like this one up top. But I don't know how those images will do when we try to put them into a slideshow. Like, are they going to be, how do I control where it shows up? Is it going to be convenient or not? And then what I'm calling the overwhelmingness problem versus traceability. This is a trade-off. So with this, a benefit is that it's highly traceable and it's all in one place. It's just one file. But there's a problem by having just one file. It's potentially overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff here. So it's not easy to consume or navigate. The good news is that Markdown has links. So basically, I'm hoping that the slideshow can solve for this, and the slideshow can make it easy to consume and navigate. Because the raw Markdown file is not going to be easy to consume and navigate. But that's an outstanding question. We're going to pilot it, and then we're going to look at the PowerPoint and say, hey, is this user-friendly? It's possible it might not be. So this is a potential question. Are we gaining traceability at the cost of overwhelmingness? Hopefully the answer is no, but that's an outstanding question. So these are a couple outstanding questions, and let's dive into it. First, I'll show you how I came up with the solution. As a software engineer, I just started with good old Google. I already knew about Markdown and GitHub, and I was kind of thinking about the idea of using GitHub for version control. Free Code Camp does that. I was thinking about the idea that, hey, a user can just view these links, and it would be prettier if they view it as Markdown with notes. Like I can just put the notes in each section, and that would be a one-file way to have all the information that I want. So I kind of had some background knowledge already, but what I didn't know is whether there's a library to make a slideshow out of Markdown. This was like a big technical question that is high value potential, but I don't know of any existing solutions. So I just Googled it. Markdown file to slideshow. Top result, opensource.com. Read through it, and it looks like there's several options in the first result alone, let alone if you go down the page, there's more results. So I looked through these and evaluated them. Here's one called Landslide. It looks pretty good. It works really well. Like this would be good enough. This would be satisfactory. Here I can see it supports images. I don't know how much flexibility with the positioning of the image there is, but it supports it. Bulleted list, readable text, kind of like the basics that I would need. It also has code snippets, which is really a nice to have actually. So it has the essentials, and then it also has some nice to haves. It's also easy to navigate. I'm just doing left and right on my board. I can hit the escape button and get this like view of all the slides at once, which is super nice. I don't really like the background color. I'm hoping / assuming that's configurable. But basically there are some, it could look better. It could look prettier, but and I would like if it had like numbered slides at the bottom of the page. It has them at the top, which I guess is good enough, but I would like it if it was on the side. So there's some things I could nitpick, but I was very pleased to see that like this is good enough, and it's just HTML. So it's fully diffable. It's just an HTML file. Looked through MARP, it's kind of okay. Like it would also work. I don't think it's much better than what we just viewed though. Pandoc, I'm not a fan of. But basically because I feel like we're using it for a different purpose. It's made to change stuff between file formats. So it's a universal document converter, so it just feels like the wrong thing to use to make a slideshow. You can also output slides to PDF. Like that doesn't really sound like something I care about. You'll need to use specific formatting for your slides. Like I would prefer that they just support something I'm already familiar with, like pure Markdown or GitHub flavored Markdown. Here's like a command line tool. So that's another thing that I found unattractive, is that it would work, but it's second best that I need to go through a build process. What would be better is if it's just at runtime. And so why? The question is why? This could be not diffable, depending on the way the PDF is output. I'm actually not sure that's true. As long as the slideshow that it's being output is HTML, it would still be diffable. It's just kind of an additional step I need to do, which is not a big deal. But it's an additional step I need to do. A bunch of these libraries I'm not familiar with. Maybe it's really cool, but this is like a bunch of stuff I'm not familiar with. I wish I could see an example too. It kind of looks like this is an example. You can add some variables to control how they behave. I'm open to changing my mind on this if I could see an example. Basically, it just looks like a lot of work to do to arrive at a second best solution using a tool that's not purpose-built for what I need. It looks like it could work, but it's not really standing out to me, and I can't get to a quick example. Maybe this will have one. A quick example of demo. Here we go. From Markdown, okay. Fo fum. Apples can make sauce. Okay, so let's see. Convert. Okay, so you made this HTML page. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's see if I can just view this. And how does it look? So I'm just replacing the HTML right there. Fee5 fo font. That doesn't look like a slideshow to me. I don't know. I mean, maybe it could work. I might be missing like a style sheet, I guess. Maybe it could work. It doesn't feel like my go-to choice. Anyway, hacker slides. Here's Reveal.js again. We start to see Reveal.js over and over. Here's Reveal.js. Here's Reveal.js. Let's go see hacker slides. And it looked pretty cool. One of the things that I like is that you can see the markdown and also the rendered on the same page. I like that. Simple app that combines Ace Editor and Reveal.js. I kept seeing Reveal.js and I got interested in this guy. Here's the Ace Editor. Ooh, Cloud9 editor. I'm familiar with Cloud9. It's good. And so this felt like a good thing if it's using tools that I know work. And it's just JavaScript, which also feels good. If we go back to here, even though kind of like at this point my leading choice is Landslide. Landslide is based on Python. It builds it using Python, which feels second best to me. So this is just JavaScript. So why do I care about JavaScript? The curriculum that I'm building is JavaScript and TypeScript. It's React based. So I'm teaching people how to become a front-end developer, and I'm teaching them React. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and then if they can stretch, we go to TypeScript. So if I'm able to recycle those tools within the code base that builds the lesson plan, that's really cool because I can send my students to the resource repository, and not only do they get this list of links, they can also poke around the technical stuff and understand that too, and possibly even contribute. So that's a value proposition in and of itself. If I'm able to do all of this in React world or in JavaScript world or in TypeScript world, that's another win for me. So I go and I look at Reveal.js and check out the live demo. The other thing that I notice is that all these tools keep using Reveal.js, but they're like old Reveal.js, like they're not Reveal.js itself. So if I've decided basically that Reveal.js is awesome, why not just go directly to Reveal.js? So that's what I ended up thinking, and it turns out that this is really awesome, basically. So up top, they have an example slideshow. See, I just noticed it looks better. It looks more modern. I can click over here. Vertical slides. Ooh, that's a nifty feature I haven't seen elsewhere. I can use my left and right mouse button. Vertical slides I can do. It's like highly accessible. I can use my arrow keys or the space bar. I have that really cool view all slides view. Here is a real link, a clickable link. It has snippets, and the snippets look great. Code syntax highlighting courtesy of Highlight.js. So not only do I have snippets, but the snippets look great, and they are using more JavaScript as opposed to a Python library. Cool animations. I thought this was great. Look, highlighting and scrolling through. I haven't seen this elsewhere. Maybe the others have it, but I feel the interoperation is going to be better because animations themselves are built using CSS and JavaScript, and this library is just JavaScript. So I feel the interoperability, if I ever wanted to customize that, would be easier than if I was trying to use the Landslide Python library to manipulate CSS and JavaScript. Does that make sense? Zoom.js, just like a bunch of things that make sense. So Zoom.js is not like some crazy library that I don't know what it does, and I'm using it for a purpose it's not built for, like if I go back to Pandoc, Pandoc can do a lot of stuff, but what is Slidius? What is Slidey? What is DZ Slides S5? Beamer package, LaTeX. What are even these doing? It feels like you're pulling a lot of tools from different environments to do different things that you may or may not care about in a non-transparent way, which is not the feeling I get with Reveal.js. What I get with Reveal.js is we're pulling in small libraries that are purpose-built and intuitive. So Zoom.js, what does it do? It helps you zoom. The other one was Highlight.js, right? What does Highlight.js do? It's for highlighting. So it's like a small library, purpose-built, intuitive. These all feel like wins to me. I don't even know what auto animate does. So some stuff that I'm really not sure about. Big win right here, Markdown support. So look at this. Write content using inline or external Markdown. And I think I checked, let's check that it supports GitHub flavored. Let's do GFM. GitHub Markdown. So I don't see GitHub flavored Markdown specifically called out. But I'm still going to try it. I think it's going to work. Markdown.js, I'm pretty sure supports. I think this is using Markdown.js, and I think that supports GitHub flavored Markdown. Anyway, so that's how I arrived at, first of all, there's a bunch of solutions, how I prioritized Reveal.js to be my favorite, and then I have some fallbacks if it doesn't work out. So I'm going to close all these. I'm going to preserve the one. Here's MARP, by the way. MARP has some really cool, really good looking stuff to go for it. Based on Common Mark, though, which is not the same as GitHub flavored Markdown, but I love this. The only important difference is a ruler for splitting pages. So you can just write Markdown, and then there's this very clear syntax that splits the pages for slides. Let's see an example of this. I think I actually like this more than Landslide. Is there an example? Show Markdown example. See, this is pretty readable. You can pretty much just read it. And then if it renders on GitHub, it would be even more readable. So this is like way prettier than having like a CSV or something like that. Export to HTML, PDF, and PowerPoint. That's cool. All right. So anyway, I consider this as like a good fallback option. Here's still Reveal.js. And Reveal.js has this like really in-depth course if I wanted it. I don't really want it, but to know that they have like professional stuff, that's like a really big nice to have perk. And slides.com, this is another really cool optional perk. If you're not a coder at all, you can still use slides.com, and it produces Slides.js or Reveal.js slideshows. So it's an editor for Slides.js, and you can be non-technical. So I think this makes the tool really cool. Check it out. You could be like a business analyst and work with your developer, or a designer and work. You could be non-technical, non-coder, and this solution would still work for you. So it feels like a really robust solution to me. And this gives me some assurance that the positioning of the images and whatever are going to be configurable enough that it's not a problem. And that like runtime customization is going to be fine because they have a whole editor that does that. And they have a free tier. Okay, so close that. Those are all the things that persuaded me this is my top priority, basically. Need to give them a star. I don't think I ever starred them. Okay. So let's make a project. New repository. This is going to be called Latterly Slides. A repo. Okay. Open curriculum for latterly.io with slideshow building feature. With slideshow build. With slideshow build? Builder. With slideshow builder. And this is open. So like I said previously, this curriculum was kind of like closed source, but we're going to open it. Okay, add a README file, add a get ignored, choose a license. It's going to be MIT. Get ignored template. Let's go for Node because we are going to be using NPM. Create this bad boy. Close out Discord, close out Steam, kind of close the stuff that I don't really need. Let's open up VS Code. Suli says, I know her. Package JSON. I don't know why that's kind of looping. Okay. Oh, I guess I had some ongoing changes. That's fine. We're going to get out of PowerShell, go to git bash. Git bash is my default. I don't really know. Actually, this would be a great time to install and update if we're going to do that. Might as well do it now. Git bash is my default. I don't really know why. It didn't open to it by default. Restart to apply latest update. Let's do it now. And I think I'm going to go live on TikTok here. Now, that time it did open to bash. How funny. Going live, so what are we calling this? We are calling this Latterly Slides. Cool. Going live with that. Works for me. Okay. Gonna CD up a level. Ooh, command line staking. That's no good. Make sure I have the URL on my clipboard. Got it on my clipboard. Back to VS Code. Gonna git clone this repo. Bam. Latterly Slides cloned it. And what sort of application are we going to do here? Let's check with Reveal.js. I could do Blitz. That's full stack, feels overkill. I could do Next. I could do just create React app. But if Reveal.js has a recommended way, then I'm going to follow that. We make a point of distributing Reveal.js in a way that can be used by as many people as possible. Basic setup is our most broadly accessible way to get started and only requires that you have a web browser. So this would actually be cloning the repo, huh? installing from npm. Use it as an ES module. Okay. Let's see. I would like to build. So this seems like it's going to just put it on the page at runtime. I would like to actually build. So let's check these guys. Oh, access to the build tools needed to make changes in Reveal.js source. Open index.html in a browser to view it. Yeah, I don't like this basic setup. Thanks for joining. Got a couple people joining. So git clone. I think this is the approach that I'm going to take. So yeah, let's go over there to the actual repository. And this is called a ripping pattern. Ripping pattern. So a ripping pattern is where you copy the code from another repo, use it as a skeleton starter template app. So back in the day, if you copied a CD, like an actual music CD, if you copied the files off of it, you would be called, and then if you burned a new one, you would be called ripping it. So here, I guess I'll go ahead and fork it, because if I do end up contributing, I'm going to need to fork it at some point anyway. Cool. So I have this. I'm going to copy that. Git clone. So I'm cloning the forked repository. And then the ripping step will happen when I copy from one repository to the other. So at this point, it's just a fork. And I'm going to go in here and copy it. Boom, Control C, and move it to my repository. Where'd it go? Laterally slides. So I'm going to paste it right here. Boom, Control V, and that's called ripping. By the way, I need to double check the license to make sure that it's okay that I did that. If they're open source, though, ripping is totally fine. Here, let me double check their license. Replace these files, that's fine. So I'm double checking the license. Without restrictions, including without limitation rights to use, copy, modify, great. So it's open source. Yeah, it's using the MIT license. Great. Cool. So yeah, so it's open source. I'm going to add folder to workspace. I'm going to pick laterally slides, add. Cool. And so I have ripped the other repository, which means I'm currently using their code. So, and that's okay, it's open source, but these commands should literally work in my repository now. So git clone, we did that. We just have a different repo name, cd into the folder, and npm install. So we're going to cd into the folder, and all the same instructions should work. We're just in a different folder. So I'm going to npmi to install. I'm also going to go ahead and commit these changes to my repository. And I'm going to say feature, and I'm going to say rip React, what is it called? React Reveal.js. Rip Reveal.js. Control Enter to commit. Drop down on the ellipsis. I'm just waiting for that to complete. And once it completes, I'll push. Okay. So you can see I have one unpushed change right here. Push. Now I go to my GitHub for Latterly Slides, and I can see the Reveal.js code. Rip Reveal.js. Cool. Close that. How's my installation going here? Got a quad shot chai latte today. So we got a package lock. Let's go ahead and commit it as a chore lock file. I do want to do the, yeah, I don't know if I trust that npm audit, so I'm going to just ignore it for now. We're going to npm start. Using gulp, wow. So gulp is a build process. It's a build library. So if I look at my package JSON, it should be building something. So here's gulp serve, okay. But I can also just gulp build. And I think gulp build will give me, hopefully, the static HTML file that I'm looking for. So we're going to change this name. This name is Latterly Slides. Version is 0.1.0. Get rid of this. Homepage is latterly.io. Yep. This is all looking good. Engines, node, greater than or equal to 10. Sure. Got all these dependencies, huh? I think this looks pretty good. Parser options. I don't know if I need all this stuff really. Here's the ESLint roles. I might change how that looks. I don't like that being in my package JSON. Okay. So anyway, the start is done. Server started. Let's go check it out. Boop. Can't be reached. Oh no, it's invalid. Let's switch it over to localhost. Cool. So 0 is the loopback address, 0.0.0. So you can often refer to the same process via localhost. And there I go. I can arrow left and right. It's just 2 slides. That's fine. I think the other slideshow was cooler, but this will work. So this is the basic slideshow, and it seems to be working. I'll swap out the contributing file location because I don't want people saying, hey, Reveal.js, fix this problem, and it's just a Latterly Slides problem. Cool, so I got this. And the really cool thing about this, I can't emphasize this enough. If you're one of my students, you're now going to be able to contribute to this repository, and you will be contributing to open source. And I think that's a really big deal. I want to foster open source contributions in my students. You might even be able to go back to Reveal.js. Let me mark in the README this is built with Reveal.js. Okay. So this will be Latterly Slides. This is the open sourced curriculum for Latterly.io. And let's put the link on that. Built, proudly built using Reveal.js. Throw an exclamation point on that. I got this cool plugin. It might be, I can preview, open preview, boom. It might be built into VS Code now, or it might be using an extension. But anyway, I can preview the Markdown right here. This is the open source curriculum for Latterly.io. Oh, it kind of like linked it for me. That's crazy. Boom. Oh, I did that wrong. That should be the bracket. And then this is the https://latterly.io. Boom, save that. And it updated the link. Proudly built using Reveal.js. Great. Cut out the copyright online editor. Cut this out. I'm going to get rid of that. I do want to leave the Reveal.js logo though. Proudly built with Reveal.js. Get started. Get rid of that. Get started. And I should have some link to the slides itself once that's done. This logo is really big though. I feel like I want to make it smaller. Let's make it 225. Kind of cut it in half. Boop. Passing. Try the Reveal editor. I don't need that. I guess I'll leave the syntax explaining what is Reveal.js. Reveal.js. And then I don't need that to be left aligned. Proudly built using Reveal.js. Now it looks kind of stupid, doesn't it? I should go back and I should go back. Cool. Checking if there's any questions. No open questions right now. Okay. And I'm going to bring the sentence up. Let me do it like this. I think that looks better. Let me throw a link on the Reveal.js. You know what? No, I want to break that line. Reveal.js. I'm going to make Latterly.io lowercase. I like that style better. I don't know, the logo just feels kind of awkward. Doesn't it? Y'all are my designers. What do y'all think? Damn. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just drop it, unless y'all let me know that I should keep it. Okay, so this works. Latterly slides. This is the open source curriculum for Latterly.io, proudly built using Reveal.js. Reveal.js is an open source. Cool. So I think that takes care of contributing update. Let's preview the contributing. Please keep the issue tracker limited to bug reports, feature requests, and pull requests. So this is tagged with reveal.js. Let's tagged with latterly. Yeah, and I don't think they ever would. So latterly is not like a library. So I don't think it would ever, if there was like a latterly library, that would be a different situation. So I'm just going to get rid of this. Boop. Okay, so when reporting a bug, make sure to include information about which browser and operating system you are on, as well as the necessary. Okay, so I don't need plugins, and I think I don't need plugins, and I don't need bug reports. And you know what? I can undo this. Personal support. If you have personal support, that can go to discussions tab. So we have the latterly slides. How do I have discussions? Discussions, get started with discussions. Boop. Set up discussions. Cool. So I will point them to the discussions tab. So if you have personal support or setup questions, the best place to ask those are discussions. The best place to ask those, that's bad grammar. I don't want to pull request him because his one word is wrong, is at discussions. The best place is singular, it's not plural. The best place to ask those is at. Cool. So now we're going to my own discussions. Bug reports, get rid of that. Plugins, get rid of that. So limited to, please keep the issue tracker limited to feature requests. And pull requests, that doesn't really make sense to me. So I'm going to say limit it to feature requests, please. Boom. Cool, so I think that's the contributing for latterly now. This is looking better. Update this repository location. Here's the GitHub SSH. Bam, bam, bam. This is all wrong. Grab that HTTPS. Git // github.com. So we'll swap out the protocol. Git // github.com. Okay. Everything else is looking good. In the future, I might pull out the ESLint config and prettier config. I might pull those out in the future, but I don't need to do that now. So here the commit will be chore. Or no, this is docs actually. Docs, readme, and contributing. Okay. Add these, control enter, and push. Cool. So this is all looking good. Refresh this. I can see updated documentation. This is updated. Yeah, so I want to add a section under here, which is like the curriculum. How's it going? Hey, what's up, Don? Thanks for dropping in. So just to review what we're building, this is open sourcing the Latterly curriculum. So latterly.io/latterly.teachable.com. And it's a course about how to become a front-end developer. And basically, I want to make the, I want the curriculum to use slideshows. Like I want there to be a slideshow for each of these. And I want that slideshow to be open sourced. And so that's what we're building today. Cool, so jumping back here, Latterly slides, now public. Oh, sponsor this project. What is that talking about? I think I can get rid of this demo HTML file. Oh, is this the actual slides? Slide 1 and slide 2. So this is definitely not the slides. This is something else. Here's test, assets, fine. Is this test? Nope. GitHub work. Oh, here's the funding. Okay. GitHub. Yep. So this I think I need to change to me. JS YAML. Workflows. Ah, very interesting. On push. Going to run this workflow, and where does it deploy it? Name tests. Oh, okay. So this is how it's running tests. Let's go back over there. That was really cool how this guy set that up. I'm gonna follow this guy. Boop. So here's reveal.js, and tests are passing. So this is using his own actions. That's really cool. So I think I need to do that. So here's laterally slides issues, test on push. This repo runs tests and displays pass status in README. Replicate that here. Cool. So there's workflows, and then I can actually copy this path. Rough that. Boop. All right, cool. So CSS, what's up with this? Print style, great. Dist, okay, so this is actually building it here. Got some fonts in there. I don't think I need those, but we can punt that to later. Examples. And then here's an index page. So I think this is what's actually being rendered. Slide 1, slide 2. And then if we look, boom, slide 1, slide 2. Okay, so this is what's actually being rendered. I'm going to close 2 of the 3 docs for now. I'll leave 1 open. Making our way around the repository and understanding how it works. So yeah, here is localhost. What if I go to demo.html? Cool, and now I get the big slide. Okay. So we can just access it just like that. This is really great. So we're going to end up building plain HTML file. Here's the gulp file. And this should write somewhere. So it has dist reveal ESM. Taking as source root index HTML. Using rollup, okay? So what I want to try to do now is change source and rebuild. plugins. These are a bunch of examples. So I think I can go, let's go to this bare bones example. I think I can just go, yeah. Okay, cool. So literally the dev server is just basically serving from the root of the GitHub repository. Okay. So I could delete the examples file. Extraneous files. Delete demo.html. Cool. So I think those files are extraneous. I'm not going to delete them now, but I could delete them. I think we'll leave the test for now. This is looking good. How do I rebuild the index is what I seem to be missing. It's almost like it wants you to edit the index file in place. All right, let's go to the documentation. So, home. Ready to get started, installation instructions, okay? Basic setup, full setup, we did the full setup. Started it, it's looking good. Development server. Installing from npm. Yeah, I think this is like a gap in the documentation. It's not telling you how to build the index file. I guess you just edit the index file in place. So that is not really what I want to do. What I want to do is use Markdown. Get rid of this. Oh, more about initializing in config. Okay, let's check this out. The most common Reveal.js use case is to have a single presentation which covers the full viewport. Yep. That's what I want to do. They support some other stuff too, but I don't want to do that other stuff. If you only have a single presentation on the page, we recommend initializing Reveal.js using the global reveal object. Great. This could be interesting in the future. So how I'm imagining this could be different is multiple presentations. I could have a presentation for each of these. Or I could have one presentation and then each of these refers to like a certain set of pages of that slideshow. So I'm going to do that for now because it feels simpler. But later, we could change it up. So I'm going to cut that. One slide deck versus many. So this says current implementation is one giant slide deck and lessons are associated to a page range. Alternatively, each lesson could have its own slide deck. Cool. Backbench that for now and then get rid of these comments. Theme used for syntax highlighting code. I'll leave that comment. That's a good comment. Title Reveal.js. Nope. Title is laterally slides. Okay. And like my question is where is the Markdown? Yep, it's using Markdown.js. So I guess I need to have a Markdown tag here. Markdown. Boom. It's possible and oftentimes more convenient to write presentation content using Markdown. To create a Markdown slide. Cool. So section, data, Markdown, paragraph with some text and a link. Paragraph with some text and a link. So this is the Markdown. And there's the ruler. And then now it's slide 2. Boom. Okay, so it seems like what I need to do, and this is actually pretty straightforward, not a big deal, but it seems like I need to read my own README file and inject it into a text area. That's what it seems like. Okay. Although instead of text area, this is using section tag, which is nice. To create a Markdown slide, add the data Markdown attribute to your section element and wrap the contents in a text area. So they're explicitly asking me to do that. Okay, no problem. No problem. Section, data Markdown. Boop, boop, boop. On the one hand, I love how easy this is, but on the other hand, it's not quite what I expected. I thought I would be giving it a README file. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay, and then it did some weird wrapping with that text area. Ew, what's going on? Is that actually even gonna work? So here I am, let's go back to localhost, boom. Yeah, looks broken, right? Okay. This functionality is powered by the built-in Markdown plugin, which in turn uses marked for all parsing. Cool. So we're already using Markdown.js. We're already using this plugin. There it is. Reveal Markdown. Reveal Markdown. There it is. So we're already using that. You can write your content as a separate file. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think it's literally just because the auto format is goofing it up. Let me go to package.json. Let me just rip out all the rules. Rules. Boop. Goodbye, rules. Goodbye to you. Globals, module. So these are all false. I'm cool with that. I kind of like console sometimes. That's fine. This is all fine. Everything's fine. ESLint parser. Fine. Let's leave it alone. Still doing it. So let's see. ESLint config. I guess I'll just get rid of the whole ESLint config. I kind of have my own preferences with that stuff anyway, so. And it's still doing it. Okay, so something is goofy is going on. Let me undo those changes because those changes are not to blame. Or hold on, let me redo those changes and kill my dev server. Following task did not complete. That's okay. Might take a few seconds. That CLI is sticking. Stop bullyism. Thanks for joining. How's it going? Give it about 4 more seconds and I will blow up that command line because it's sticking. Boom, just finished. Ice chai latte quad. All right, let's delete that. Bye. New terminal. Got latterly slides. We're back in action. So now we're going to npm start. Boo. It's using gulp serve, but this time we removed some rules, and the theory is that those formatting were being applied on save due to gulp. So let's see if that's true. It's still doing it. So there's a gulp task. You can say starting reload, finish reload. So let's look at the gulp task. Reload. So reload, connect reload. I don't really see a formatting task here. There's format, bundle right. Okay, so it's writing reveal.js. I'm okay with that. It's writing reveal.js. I'm okay with that. So I do see it writing some stuff and formatting some stuff, but I don't see it formatting the HTML file. Here's include CSS. Let's look for HTML. Okay, transform HTML import to string. Could be this. So here's the test file. That's a test file. So it's definitely grabbing the HTML file, gulp series reload, gulp series reload. Extensions, Babel config. Transform HTML import to string. Yeah, I don't know. That's the only one I could see that could be doing it. Let's see, we can try running a dev server without this gulp file and see what that does. So let's just comment reload. Boom. And now it should only be doing serve. Cool. So you can see here it's replacing my semicolon, even though reload is not running. And what that means is that this is using my prettier extension at this point. And that's still, well, wait, it just ran reload, huh? It just ran reload. Okay, so I need to kill this reload task. That actually completed that time. Now let's see. And it's still doing it even though it's completely off. So this is definitely due to my prettier at this point. So let me go grab one of my actual prettier files. And why would this be happening? Close text area. I think prettier is not understanding that that's Markdown, maybe. So anyway, I'm going to put a prettier file here. New file, prettier. RC, enter, drop that. Yeah, okay. So definitely behaving differently, although I don't know about better. Let's Google this real quick. Prettier breaks text area tag. Closing, yeah. So here's text area. Well, it's doing that for my closing tag, but anyway. Yeah, see, it's doing that to me. Seems you forgot to use the Angular view parser, which should trigger formatting for interpolations. Okay. Is it related to that? Whatever. Okay, so in this case, it's due to view. I don't have any view on mine. Let me delete this and see what happens. Boom. Then it looks good, right? go back to my package JSON. So I think parser Angular. I think I need to tell Prettier that I have Markdown on my page. This can be done with the help of VS Code itself. Okay, that's fine. Let's test this out. So I'm going to Control P settings. Nope, Control Shift P and go to preferences. So this is why I keep saying it's using Prettier. So I have format on save with the Prettier VS Code enabled. Terminal integrated profiles windows. Okay, I don't know. I'm going to undo that because I'm not quite sure what that's doing. Let's see. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Throw that in there. Force aligned. I don't know if I like using VS Code to work around Prettier, but anyway. Yeah, it's not working anyway. So I'm going to undo this. Prettier HTML rules. There was one rule that the other person said didn't matter, but I'm going to try it. HTML whitespace sensitivity doesn't matter, by the way. Let me check this out. As you may notice, during daily HTML work, the following two cases won't produce the same output. Instead of breaking your code or just doing nothing, we introduced whitespace sensitive formatting, which follows this. Okay. Wow, so they're actually doing this on purpose. Okay. Yeah, that could have just been like a huge time suck if it technically works, but the indentation is wrong. Ew, there's tabs in. There's tabs here. Let me undo all this. There's tabs here. Why? Okay, now I got 4 spaces. Now I got 2 tabs. Why are there tabs in here? I hit enter and it's indent using spaces. 4 spaces is fine. You just need to use spaces though. Okay. Why was it doing that? Was that something in my package, Jason? It's using tabs. Gross. Cool, so I'm just going to redo these. And now it's spaces everywhere. Okay, so I think tabs were messing me up. Let's see, we got Sasha Leota. Thanks for joining. Cool, so this text area is still not aligned. So it's good that it's consistent. But I'm expecting the text area to open and close evenly, which is not doing. Wow, and now it fixed itself. Got it. Okay, because it's actually sensitively detecting the white space inside of the text area there. That's what's going on. I'm okay with that, right? And then the end tag is showing me the actual correctly indented ending. So this is actually not broken. It's just unusual because it's a text area. So I am going to cut this and I'm going to try deleting it. And we're going to see if it's necessary. So save, look around, I got no tabs. So those rules, end of line, exclude, semi, tab width 4. It really just changed the print width. I'll include it, even if it's just for print width. That's consistent with my other projects. So new file, .prettier RC, drop that in there, and Control S, boom, realign for tab width. Okay. So this is actually working. Prettier RC, the gulp file I can undo, but then I'm going to go back here and save it again. Bam. And that's just formatting with Prettier. Yeah, I do like my semicolons. And then all your tabs are gone because they're gross and they're bad. Cool. Package.json got rid of the pre-existing ESLint stuff. I think I want to bring it back. It was not causing trouble, and it's some linting. Some linting is good. Just kind of Control S-ing in a few places to make sure that stuff is still working. It seems to be working fine. Okay, so I'm going to chore the funding. Chore funding, boom. And then I am going to, this is also a chore. Chore, Prettier RC. Cool. Push it. See npm start once again. And what am I expecting? This time I expect to see 3 slides instead of previously there were 2. I could have called that a feature. I called it a chore, but really it's kind of a feature. Okay, here we are, refresh. Still not working. This is still not what I expect. Data markdown. Data markdown, text area data template. Let me inspect this. I was thinking it was because the tag was broken. Okay, unable to find presentation root. Div class reveal. Okay, so I guess there is, this is not the whole story right here. There's supposed to be a higher level. Let me go back to the home or the demo. There's supposed to be a higher level root, and they're just showing you a snippet. I think it's really cool, honestly, that the slideshow can just be part of your website. That's wonderful. It doesn't have to take up the whole page. So where is this root? Class reveal. Let's look for that. Class equals reveal. Reveal. All the meta tags. Okay, so they have class reveal demo. They have like this top level section. And this is using ID demo. Let me look at their demo file. So I have it in the repo right here. Here's the demo file. Boop. So I think they bootstrap it and they specify controls progress center hash. I would expect that they're specifying the demo ID because it doesn't appear to be the case. Here's div class reveal. How interesting is it's like, here it is right here. And it's not there. It's like it's getting replaced, which is totally fine. Okay, so let's go to my index, and within the body, we're going to have div class reveal, and that wraps the section. Okay. Cool. So reload is done. Let's check it out. Unable to find slides container. So now there needs to be slides, demo, slides, and then section. Yeah. So this is just a gap in the documentation. Reveal slides. And then section is used to denote a single slide. That makes sense to me. And now we're looking good, right? 1, 2, 3. Now we're looking good. This is really nice. And it's using actual Markdown. How nice. Okay. So this will be fix. So this is actually a fix. Reveal and slide containers. Push that. The interesting thing is this ought to work as is for GitHub Pages. Let me go over to Pages and enable that. Pages. Let's use the main branch. Save. Here's this. It takes a minute sometimes. Yeah, it takes a minute sometimes for Pages to kind of propagate. It's all in blue right now. Refresh. When it's green, there's like a green check mark, that means GitHub Pages is working. And this is free hosting. You're able to like watch. You're able to have totally free hosting. So don't. Okay, see it's green now. Don't let people tell you that you have to pay for hosting. You don't. If you're trying to build a portfolio, as a developer, you can have a totally free portfolio. Yeah, see, bam, and here's the slideshow. This is honestly sexy. Not even gonna lie. Not even gonna exaggerate. So the only thing that remains to be done is to import our actual README string, because right now we're just putting some arbitrary content there. So there is going to be a little kind of just touch of parsing that we have to do, because I don't want this to show, you know what, maybe it's fine. It's fine if there's a slide for this. I was going to say I could parse it out and just show what's below, but I think it's fine if I show this. So let me go to my README. I'm going to close others, go to my README. I'm also going to delete the examples repo. Boop. And as much as I like this demo file, because it just helped me, right? I was able to see. I think it's fine if we delete this now. And in the future, we can simply refer to, because here it says proudly build. It should say built. I'm dumb. Proudly build. Proudly built using Reveal.js. I actually want to point to the GitHub right there. And then what is this? This is the open source curriculum for ladderly.io. View this as a slideshow here. View this information as a slideshow. As a slideshow here. Bam. So there's that. Let's open a preview, and then you just click the slideshow. There it is. Love it. So let's get the Reveal.js GitHub, and then the Reveal.js GitHub is going to point to their website if you actually want to go to their website. Bam. So I can just refer to this GitHub if I need to look at this demo file. I don't need to maintain this demo file. So I'm going to offload that to them. So we're going to switch that over to that GitHub file, and then I can now delete the demo file from my repository. Did I already do that? Here's demo. Okay, so this is going to be chore, clean, unused files, and fix readme. And this is going to ref one of my issues. This is actually going to close this. It's not even going to ref. It's going to close. Clean extraneous files. Closes 3. Closes number 3. Boom. Control Enter and push it. See, I didn't even refresh the page. It just refreshed itself. That's so wild. Conventional commits. There you go. So that closed it. Okay. So what we need to do now, I need to know, can I dynamically write to this bad boy? And I think the answer is yes, as long as I write before I initialize, right? So I'm going to grab this, boom. I want to put a comment here. This content is injected in the last script in the body at runtime. And I'm going to, instead of this, famous this, text area content is injected in the last script in the body at runtime. Bam, bam, bam. I'm going to break it. Doesn't matter to me. Okay. Text area content is injected in the last script in the body at runtime. So this is going to be const slideshow, or I want this to be markdown. Yeah. Slideshow markdown equals going to be a template string. Oh no. I knew. I lost all my stuff. That's fine. This is it. Close that. Here it is. So here's the slideshow markdown. Boom, save that. Cool. So reveal initialize. Does initialize take a value? Can I just like pass the string right to Can I just pass a string right to the initialize? Do they have a discussion? Reveal.js. Let me go to y'all's Twitter because y'all rock, and I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to tweet you guys. Y'all people. Follow. Cool. Tweet. Y'all rock. Can I just pass a markdown string to that feels bad. I'm just going to say y'all rock. I don't want to turn that into a support ticket. Y'all rock, and that's the important part. Hakeem Malatab, you rock, dude. Good job being cool. I'll put an issue on my own repository. Maybe inject Markdown directly to reveal.initialize. And this could even be a feature request / contribution to upstream. Cool. So so right now I'm going to get an HTML reference to the DOM on this section right here. But all of this could be virtualized so that I could just pass like raw markdown just like right there, and I wouldn't need to put that there. I could like reveal could just find it. I can just say append body markdown. I don't know. I'll think of that proposal and propose it. Cool. Let's go do that now. Y'all can see how I do this. Proudly built it using Reveal.js. Points to their GitHub. Let's go over here. We already started. I'm going to go issues. I'm going to do feature, because they're contributing says feature request, right? Contributing. Feature request. So I'm going to go here, new issue. This is going to be feat. Directly append markdown. And let me go look one more time at their website. To make sure this isn't obviously already supported. So what is markup? Here's a bare bones example. Initialize, reveal slides, and then you just initialize. Markdown, right? Markdown plugin. Cool. Data markdown, data separator. Data separator vertical. Data separator notes. Okay. So what was I proposing? What I was proposing is that I don't even need to put section. Because this section, by the way, the documentation here is not awesome because that section needs to be wrapped in like a slides container and whatever. So my proposal would be that this is simpler, basically. Yeah, so the feature would be simpler external markdown. So this is feat is simpler external markdown. Now I'm going to try this out before I propose it, but basically, today we have external markdown. We have external markdown. Today we have external markdown. I always get those backwards. Ugh, terrible, terrible human. Boop. Today we have external markdown, but the docs require an explicit section tag, and the docs don't say it, but that section tag goes nested within a slides container and a reveal container. A simpler alternative would be that you just specify an MD file, and reveal.js creates those containers and injects. A simpler alternative would be that you just specify an MD file, and reveal.js creates those containers and injects the markup for you. And then I want to make sure that these are, I want to see if these are optional or required. Because I don't want to suggest a simplification for something that's already simple. If these are currently required, I'm going to suggest that they're optional. But if they're already optional, then that's like a bad suggestion, right? Okay, so we save that. For a regex that supports all operating systems, use this. So I'm going to try to just delete it. I'm going to just try and, yeah, I'm going to try and just do that. And then we could even assume that too, right? Like, why not? Cool, so close this, localhost, great. GitHub pages, close that. Leave that one open, refresh this. Okay, so this is not working. Okay, so I can't just point at the README file. What if I do all this? Boop. Now does it work? Refresh. That's still not working. What if I do this? Bam. Now does it work? Still not working. So, by the way, do you even know what the README file is? Yeah. So it's not like the reference is wrong. Let's go. Example.md. Did you give me an example.md? Nope. If I do this, still doesn't work. Could not load content. Let's go to my network tab. Is it even requesting? Clear this out, refresh. It's not even requesting to that README file. Do it like this. It's not even requesting to that README file. This doesn't seem to be working. So there's like two separate issues. One is that the data markdown pointing to a README file just doesn't seem to work. Okay. There's almost like two issues going on. All right, so let's like get rid of this, and then my error should go away, right? Oh, I'm putting that section tag after the initialize, which is dumb. Dumb. Okay. So I'm gonna put that there. Yeah. Okay, and what if I do this? Oh, funky. Okay, because it didn't have an assumption about the divider, so it just tries to make a massive slide. There's like an empty slide every time. So we look here. Yeah. Data separator vertical. Should be like that, I think. Is it because I'm on Windows? Boo. Yep, so now we got rid of the extra line. Now, yeah, I don't think that's good though. We want to use the ruler. Data separator. Laterally slides. This is the open source curriculum. Okay, so we go back here. What about that? Does that make my preview goofy? So it just puts the big ruler line, which is okay, because that's like, hey, this is where the next slide is. I think that's okay. This is the open source curriculum for Laterally.io. View information as a slideshow here. Can I do this? Boop. Okay, so it's actually parsing it out like that. What if I do a regular expression like any number of those? Nope, that immediately destroyed it. Okay. Are you still dead? It's still dead. I think I might need to restart gulp. Oh, it healed itself. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what if I want multiple slides in the same section? That's the part that's going to be kind of ugly, because the markdown is going to be like lines, 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 right? Laterally slides kind of has this line under it. Markdown comment. I believe that all the previously proposed solutions result in the comments being included in the output HTML. Okay. Okay, so how about this? It just shows foo. How do I do a GitHub comment? This may be the most platform independent comment. Yay, it doesn't show up. Do I do it like that? Then it, okay, then it shows. I could just do this, right? Oh, let's do new page, new slide, slide break, and then it doesn't show up. Okay, so cut that, bam, bam, get rid of that, and then let's try to tell it that I want to use data separator is slide break. And that way, in the Markdown, it shows up as a comment. Does that make sense? Okay, so what do I expect? It's all going to be one giant slide for now. Yep, and that's fine. And now I'm going to come over here and do slide break. Bam. And it's the parser is also ignoring it. No good. That's unfortunate. So it seems like if I use the ruler for my slide separation, it's going to show up. It's going to show up in my literal Markdown. Okay. Defaults to this. Oh, okay, that's nice. It defaults to this. So they already have a default. So let's just use their default. Yeah, it's using the triple dash. Cool. So then we'll come over here. Let's just use the triple dash. It feels like that's what other people are doing anyway. Cool. So that and then that. This looks good. Then at the end, it's going to try to add the add that line. Oh no, what was that? I wanted to like clip the last page. Issue for another time. Let's not get caught up in the weeds. So, clip last page, or remove last page that is empty at the moment. Okay, so what did I just show? What I just showed is that this works, right? Section, div, div, div. So the only way to get really simpler than that is if I just said data markdown here, and then it injected those for me. This is pretty simple already, honestly. So I wouldn't be mad at all if they were like, hey, we're going to close and reject this issue because, yeah, like that's simpler, but it's just like not a big deal. Oh, it already clips the last page for me somehow. How did it do that? Qué interesante. Okay. MIT license, laterally slides. This is looking really good. Thanks for joining, Ari something. 010 Ari. So we're making a slideshow in HTML. Simpler external markdown. Today we have, but the docs require an explicit section tag, and the docs don't say it, but the section tag goes nested within a slides container and a reveal container. Simpler, let's say a marginally simpler alternative would be that reveal. So this would be a minor feat. Can inject the HTML for us if we want. Data markdown selector. Let's just call it selector. Cool. Today we have external markdown, but the docs require an explicit section tag. Bam. Simpler external markdown. Okay, not a big deal. We got everything going, but maybe they'll bite. We'll see. Maybe inject markdown directly to reveal.initialize. Closing as this is an upstream feature request. Closing in favor of. Cool. One slide deck versus many. We'll leave these. Remove last page. Yeah, that last page is gone somehow. I'm not even sure. OBE. Overcome by events. It's no longer an issue. That's what that means. Cool. Someone tuned in. Zane? Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I think I'm saying that right. Making our slideshow. Here's the slideshow. Boop. Looking good, looking good. So, is it time to commit? I think so. The index file is updated, and the README is also updated. So this is going to be feat inject README as slideshow. Okay. Control Enter, push. And now all I got to do is update my README. So this will be the curriculum. Am I spelling curriculum right? Yeah, cool. It's just like a weird looking word. The curriculum. The following sections contain the actual laterally, not IO, curriculum. Cool. Do that. And now we're gonna go grab that big ugly list and dump it. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Bam! Grab it. Just dump it. Ew, very gross. Cool. So high level. I think we don't need that there. We can just jump to this high level thing, and we can call this curriculum, like table of contents, right? That's what it is. Cool. Curriculum table of contents. Curriculum table of contents. It is a lot. How do you abbreviate page? Is it just p dot? Cool. But let's not abbreviate page because that would be confusing if it's page 1 of 2 and it's really on page 4. So let's say part 1 of 2. We'll make this a triple, so it's a little smaller. Curriculum table of contents, part 1 of 2. Actually break that into 2 lines. Curriculum table of contents, part 1 of 2. And then we can go down to, say, 5, and then the rest will be on the next page. Right, so here's part 1 of 2, part 2 of 2. I don't like this centered alignment. I think that's just a setting. Hey, thanks for joining. This is Stringify. What are you editing? Resume. Nope, this is a slideshow. So here's the, let's see, close this. Here's the repository. It's open source. You can view it now. Vanderveer/laterally slides. And this is the curriculum for a online course called laterally.io /laterally.teachable.com. So I'm building this course. It's a work in progress, and these are the lessons. And I'm building a slideshow to go with these lessons. And so I'm making the curriculum open source. And these slides are related to this. So understanding the master plan. If I look for master plan in this README, boom, here's the master plan. So I still need to clean this up, but basically that's going to be a slideshow of resources and information that matters for people taking the course. Yeah, let me know if you have any more comments. Hey, if you're liking a video, I'd appreciate a like if you like the video. Helps TikTok spread the video around. Cool. So let's go here. Curriculum table. Oh yeah, I want to left align. What is the Smarty Pants? Options which are passed into Markdown. That's kind of funny. I don't know what that means. So what I would like to do is align. Look at the alignment. Center false. Slides are vertically centered on the screen. Bam. Okay. So let's try to go back here to the index and center false. Looks like it's still centered to me. Maybe I read the directions wrong. Slides are vertically centered on the screen based on how much content they contain. To disable this and leave the slides fixed at their configured height. Oh, that's vertical centering. I want like left and right centering. Bring your own layout. That's interesting. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. No. So here's a section H3OL. This has got to be this is just a block. A block. Display is flex, I think. ABCD display is block. What if we make it flex? No. That didn't help. That didn't help. Are you aspiring front-end dev? No, but I teach. I'm a developer with about 10 years of experience. So I'm creating a course. I teach other people how to land a job as front-end developers. What about you? Display inline block is what's going on. So what if we just display block? Then it floats to the left, yeah? Very interesting. What if it was a paragraph instead? If I get rid of these numbers. Test, 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 other test. Bam, test, 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 other test. Display block. So telling you to display block doesn't matter much. What if I do margin left 5 rem? What if I just said left 5 rem? No. So you do not want to go to the left, Align self. None of these matter to you, and justify self. None of these matter to you. Crazy. All right, well, feels like too much work, so I'll just leave it. I don't really like the centering, but I'll just create a GitHub issue for it and move on. Left align content. Not the headings, but like the paragraphs and bulleted lists. Cool. Where to start is degree in CS needed? Nope, degree in CS is not needed. So you can go here, latterly.io. You can also go to Free Code Camp. Good news about that is that it's free. Bad news is that some of the curriculum's a little bit dated. These top 3 are the ones that you want. You don't need to do all these. And even the top 3, you don't need to do every module in there, but these top 3 are going to give you basically what you need. Even better is Codecademy. So Codecademy has a free version and a paid version. I highly recommend the paid version. Here's Front-End Engineer Career Path. Do that one. That's what I recommend. Thanks for joining. Hope you got some value out of that. Cool. So here's the table of contents. I think it works for now. We're just doing like a quickie, if you will. All right, so here is curriculum table of contents part 1, curriculum table of contents part 2. So this will be intro. So this is introduction. The master plan. HTML, CSS, Java, Script, React, soft skills, job search, and then this is optional advanced topics. So if we go down here, yeah, the master plan should have a section called what you don't need. I'll leave that. Tech employer advice, get rid of this. Content creator advice, get rid of this. I'll actually leave those. They're just not part of the curriculum. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So here's part 1 of 2. So this would be part 1 of 3 in that case. So here is part 3 of 3, non-curriculum content, non-curriculum content. We'll just call it that. So that'll be content creator advice, funny content creator advice, tech employer advice. Funny, yep. Funny content creator advice, tech employer advice. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this is like miscellaneous. Economics of education. So this will be, what's going on here? This is social skills and soft skills. This is job search. Let's see, what are these? Other TikTok devs to follow. It's actually a different thing. So there's miscellaneous advanced skills, and then there's like miscellaneous non-curricula content. So there's advanced tech, right? So React. Let's break it up this way. Hopefully I can fit this. Miscellaneous, optional, and advanced skills. How crowded is that slide? I know it's got 6 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like a weird vertical alignment thing going on. Oh, because I took the vertical alignment off. That's why. Bam, bam, bam. Get rid of all that. One, two. I think it works. It is kind of a little bit crowded, but I think it works. Thanks. How do you choose language to learn? Is front end generally easier to get into without dev experience? Yes, I do think the front end is easier to get into. I highly recommend React. If you went to the course that I mentioned, it'll pick it for you. So let's go back to Codecademy. Front end engineer. There's only one language they're going to teach you. If you go this front end engineer career path, you don't need to make it complicated. They're going to tell you to do JavaScript, and they're going to teach you React. And that's exactly what you should be learning if you want to maximize your ability to land a job ASAP. So start with JavaScript, then learn React, then optionally Redux and TypeScript, and then you'll be in a great position to go full stack with Node if you want. Okay. Introduction, the master plan, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, miscellaneous, optional, and advanced skills. Great, great, great. This is coming along very swimmingly, very swimmingly. So then this is soft skills. So I do social skills, soft skills. This needs to be on its own line. Job search. So that's a different section, right? Job search. Yeah. Cool. I think this is looking good. Job search. Get some slide separation in there. Oh, here's prerequisites. That's good. TikTok playlist. Let's get rid of that. These are not TikTok playlists. These are. Introduction, the master plan. Let's see. Ooh, this is so messy right now. I'm definitely going to have to clean this up a lot. That's okay. Introduction, the master plan. Introduction, the master plan. Cool. Good, good. Breaking it up some. Starboy versus Rockstarboy. Don't need that. Miscellaneous links. Damn. Etsy store. So this is FutureCast related stuff. Get rid of all that. I'm actually going to throw this back into my notepad. That was an agenda from an old stream. I just dumped the whole notebook. right? So I think what we've decided is that the overwhelmingness problem, at the moment, it doesn't seem to be a problem. So this is overwhelming. There's a lot, but I'm confident at this point. So these can be links, and boom, just click it and go there. Let's do one of those. I'm going to add old below. Let's see. Do they teach from zero there, like basic HTML, or should I get the basics from YouTube first? Codecademy teaches you the basics. Let's go. I'm not sure the career path teaches you the basics, but Codecademy does teach you the basics. You might just want to do like HTML and CSS. Nope, see, here's front-end engineer. So even if I go for basics, it points me back to that path. So I think it's very beginner friendly. Introduction to the front-end engineer, web dev fundamentals, right? Now, I would tell you, if you have any trouble with this, reach out to me. I don't know if I already mentioned this. I do one-on-one coaching and private tutoring, and I will definitely start with you from, I've placed people into jobs that have never written a line of code. So that's totally fine. And you can, again, reach me through latterly.io. Sign up here, and then you can do a 30-minute consultation with me, absolutely free. But I'm going to be more expensive than if you do Codecademy. And this is what I did when I learned. So highly recommend Codecademy. I think it's a great community. Make sure I'm following them. I think I am. Yeah, I'm already following them. Cool. Thanks for joining. Got someone else joined. Bitcoin Carlos. What's up, Bitcoin Carlos? Hey, if you've gotten some value out of the stream, please give it a like. That'll help spread the video to other TikTok users. Okay, cool. Curriculum table of contents. And what we wanted to test here was hyperlinking introduction to the master plan. Cool. Let's see. Links. Links. Here we go. You can create links from one slide to another. Start by giving your target slide a unique ID. Ooh, I love that. How does that work with the Markdown though? There is a way to do that. Markdown links. Markdown anchor. Take me to Pookie. A name Pookie. Cool. This is the heading. All right. So what we're going to try to do is master plan. So how do they write that? This is the heading. Introduction, the master plan. Cool. So let's make sure that that didn't mess up that slide. Boop. Outlining the job search. This is just like, okay. So here it is. It's looking good. If we inspect, do we see it? We see the ID was associated to the H2. So that's wonderful. They're doing some magic and I'm liking it. They're doing some magic and I'm liking it. The smiling Michael, okay, got it. Thanks. Hey, I appreciate the follow. Awesome. So they associated that with the H2. And here's introduction to the master plan name. So I gave it an ID. Did I? I gave it an ID, right? Oh, I gave it a name. I just did that without thinking because he told me to. Wow. Thank you, Stack Overflow, and everyone for being so magical. Okay, so I gave it this name, and now I'm relying on Reveal.js to link me. Okay, so here's an href. Go to the last slide. Okay. So let's go to boop. Introduction to master plan. Here we are. Introduction the master plan. Control S. Gulp reloading. So let's go back. Here we are. So now it's a link, right? Bam. And it works. That is when I told you at the beginning of the stream that I had questions about the overwhelming, hard to navigate nature of a giant Markdown file. They just solved that problem. And I'm loving it. I'm going to close this. We don't need this anymore. Cool. Hold below. So at this point, and what about image handling question sort of remains, but at this point, I'm very happy with the proposed solution. Yeah, let me just put an issue on my GitHub. Frankly, even if I can't get images at this point, I'm very happy with the solution, but I also believe that I can totally get images. Add some images. Okay, so we got that new issue. So I'm happy to call this a win at this point. Cool, so I'll delete all of that. Bam, 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 bam. And I just got this old notepad that I'm going to use to collect stuff that I don't want. Okay, so that's good. This is pretty much, we're drawing close to the end of the stream. Obviously, I need to do a lot more work, but I think we've proven the concept. And I don't need to do this all at once. That's the whole point of version controlling it, right? Is we can iterate on this. Non-curriculum content. So miscellaneous, optional, and advanced skills. Then that should be 789. 7, 8, 9. And then, so this is part 1, tech skills. This is part 2, soft skills. And this is part 3, non-curriculum content. I think that's great. I think that's great. There's these 3 major sections, part 1, part 2, and part 3. And so here is outlining the job search. This garbage can just go at the end. Worth noting, whatever, whatever. So this is all stuff that I need to clean up. Let's cut it and put it at the end. Curriculum, table of contents, and then we should dive right into the master plan. So this is going to be a new section. This is going to be to do, fix, readme below this point. Okay, so everything after that is potentially trash. Okay. So 789, and then this funny, so that'll be 10. We do funny is like the last priority, right? So let's do 10 is tech employer advice. And then 11 is content creator advice. This would be like tech influencer advice. Tech content creator / influencer advice. And then here is tech humor. Going to be tech humor. Oh, and then this is the other section, miscellaneous. So it's like miscellaneous non-curriculum. miscellaneous non-curriculum content. Cool. 13 sections. I think it looks good. Introduction to the master plan. Prerequisite skills section. Yep. Technical prerequisites. It's not, I don't like the term prerequisites. Prerequisites sounds like you need to know it before you're allowed to do this. It's more like, I'm going to teach you, but you need to know this before you can go to HTML. So there needs to be a better term for that. This will be like basic skills. They're like HTML prerequisites. We'll just call it basic skills. Basic skills. Technical basic skills. Basic tech skills. Basic technical skills. So there's the introduction, basic technical skills, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Yeah, yep, this looks good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be a crowded slide, isn't it? Let's look over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it still works. Is it crowded? Yeah, but I think it works for now. So this would be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Cool. Introduction to the master plan. And we called the, what do we call those? Basic technical skills. Hey, one last note. I hope you will follow my TikTok and check me out this evening, Dev Crew. Hashtag Dev Crew. Boom. There's a bunch of us that create content on TikTok and other platforms, YouTube and Twitter and whatever. Some of us are going to do a gaming stream tonight, the Jackbox game. So that should be a lot of fun. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, basic technical skills. Cool. This will be basic technical skills, just like that. Now we change this to name. Basic technical skills. Let's test that link out. I think it's going to work though. Bam. And it works. Look how gross this is. Ah, ew. The master plan dynamically renumbered itself. Love that. Okay, great. So I think I am done with this for today. Obviously, a bunch of work still needs to be done, but we've proven the concept and it's working. It's working. A lot of good stuff going on. So thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.